Hi, welcome back to a new episode of the Book Club in the Cabo Book Club. Yay! And today, guys, on an extremely exciting episode because today, guys, we're on episode number 361. And today we continue with Influence of Psychology of Persuasion by Robert P. Cialdini, page 150 in the book to 153 or 160 in the PDF ebook. So let's go. And you got to link to everything that you see in the camera, find it in the description below. I'm a lawyer. Eat me, so I can sue you. I think America takes all sports too seriously. Oh. So we want our affiliated sports team to win, to prove our own superiority. But we will be trying to prove it ourselves, certainly, but to everyone else too. According to the association principle, if we can surround ourselves with success that we are connected with, in even a superficial way, for example, a place of residence, our public prestige will rise. Our sports fan right to think that without ever throwing a block, catching a ball, scoring a goal, or perhaps even attending a game, they will receive some of the glory from a hometown championship? I believe so. Hey. I believe so. The evidence is in their favor. Because that Persians messengers did not have to cause the news. Bezalman did not have to cause the vessel. And Pablo Ben did not have to cause the food for powerful effects to occur. The association was enough. It is for this reason that where the University of Southern California to win the Rose Bowl, you could expect people with a Southern connection to try to increase the visibility of that connection in any of a variety of ways. In one experiment, showing how wearing apparel can serve to proclaim such an association. Researchers counted the number of school sweatshirts worn on Monday mornings by students on the campuses of 7 prominent football universities: Arizona State, Louisiana State, Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, Pittsburgh, and Southern California. The results showed that many more homeschool shirts were worn if the football team had won its game on the previous Saturday. What is more, the larger the margin of victory, the more such shirts appeared. It wasn't a close, hard-fought game that caused students to lose themselves, literally, in success. Instead, there was a clear and crushing conquest, smacking of indisputable superiority. This tendency to try to bask in reflected glory by publicly trumpeting our connections to successful others, as it's a minor image, as it is mirror image in our attempt to avoid being darkened by the shadow of others' defeat. In an amazing display during the luckless 1980 season ticket holding fans of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Saints football team, began to appear at the stadium wearing paper bags to conceal their faces. As our team suffered loss after loss, more and more fans donned the bags until TV cameras were regularly able to record the extraordinary image of gathered masses of people shrouded in brown paper with nothing to identify them by the tips of their noses. I find it instructive as during a racism contest. When it is clear that the students were at least going to win one, the fans discarded the bags and then public once more. All this tell me that we purposefully manipulate the visibility of our connections with winners and losers in order to make ourselves look good to anyone who could view those connections. By showcasing the positive associations and bowing the negative ones. We are trying to get ourselves to think more highly of us and to like us more. There are many ways we go about this. There are many ways we go about this, but one of the simplest and most pervasive is in the pronounced views. Have you noticed, for example, often after a Yom team victory, fans crowd into the range of a TV camera, thrust their index fingers high and shout, "We are number one, we are number one." Not that the code is not they are number one, or even our team is number one. The pronoun is we, designed to imply the closest possible in the identity of the team. Note also that nothing similar occurs in the case of failure. No television viewer will ever hear the chant, "We are in the last place, we are in the last place." Opting defeats are the times for distancing oneself. Here, V is not nearly as defeated, as nearly as preferred as an insulting pronoun. They. To prove the point, I once did a small experiment in which students at adolescent university were phoned and asked to describe the outcome of a football game as a school team had played a few weeks earlier. Some of the students were asked to outcomes of a certain game their team had lost. The other students were asked to the outcome of a different game, one that a team had won. My fellow researcher, Aaron Thorne, and I simply listened to what was said and recorded the percentage of students who used the word "we" in the descriptions. When the results were tabulated, it was obvious that the students they try to connect themselves to success using the pronoun "we" to describe the school team victory. We beat Houston 17-14, or we won. In the case of the lost game, however, "we" was rarely used. Instead, the students used terms designed to keep themselves separate from their vanquished team. They lost to Missouri 30-20, or I don't know the score, but Arizona State got beat. Perhaps the team desires to connect ourselves to winners and to distance ourselves from losers, or combine consummately in the remarks of one particular student. After dryly recounting the score of the home team defeat, Arizona State lost it 30-20. He blurted in English, "They threw away our chance for a national championship." If it is true that, to make ourselves look good, we try to bask in the reflected glory of the successes we are even remotely associated with, a provocative implication emerges. We will be most likely to use this approach when we feel that we don't look so good. Whenever our public image is damaged, we will experience an increased desire to restore that image by trumpeting ties to successful others. At the same time, we will most scrupulously avoid publicizing our ties to failing others. Support for those ideas comes from the telephone study of Arizona State University students. Before being asked about the ultimate victory or loss, they were given a test of their general knowledge. The test was rigged so that some of the students would fail badly while the others would do quite well. So at the time, they were asked to describe the football score. Half of the students had experienced recent image damage from the failure of the test. Those students later showed the greatest need to manipulate their connections with the football team to salvage their prestige. If they were asked to describe the team defeat, only 17% used the pronoun we in so doing. If, however, they were asked to describe the win, 41% said we. The story was very different though, for the students who had done well on the general knowledge test. They later used we about equally whether they were describing a home team victory, 25%, or defeat, 24%. Those students had bolstered their images for their own achievement and didn't need to do so for the achievement of others. This finding tells me that it is not when we have a strong feeling of recognized personal accomplishment that we will seek to bask in reflected glory. Instead, it will be when prestige, both public and private, is low that we will be intent upon using the successes of associated others to help restore image. I think it revealing that the remarkable Abab following the American hockey team victory in the 1980s Olympics came at a time of recently diminished American prestige. The US government had been helpless to prevent both the holding of American hostages in Iran and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. At the time then, as a citizenry, we needed the triumph of the hockey team, and we needed to display or even manufacture our connections to it. We should not be surprised to learn, for instance, that outside the hockey arena, in the aftermath of the win over the Soviet team, scalpers were getting $100 of pearl. Scalpers were getting $100 a pair for ticket stubs. For ticket stubs. Although desire to bask in reflected glory exists to a degree in all of us, there seems to be something special about people who would wait in the snow to spend $50 a piece for the shreds of tickets to a game they had not attended, simply to prove to friends back home that they had been present in the big victory. Just what kind of people they are they? Unless I miss my guess, they are not merely great sports aficionados. They are individuals with a hidden personality flaw, a poor self-concept. Deep inside is a sense of low personal worth that directs them to seek prestige, not from the generation or promotion of their own attainments, but from the generation or promotion of their associations, of their associations with others, of attainment. There are several varieties of this species that bloom throughout our culture. The persistence name dropper is a classic example. So too is the rock music groupie. who traded sexual favors for the right to tell girlfriends that she was with a famous musician for a time. No matter which form it takes, the behavior of such individuals shares a similar themes. The rather tragic view of accomplishment is deriving from outside the self. Certain of those people evoke the association principle in a slightly different way. Instead of striving to inflate their visible connections to others of success, they strive to inflate the success of others they are visibly connected to. The clearest illustration is a notorious stage mother obsessed with securing stardom for a child. Of course, women are not alone in this regard. In 1991, Devan Port Oba obstetrician cut off service to the wives of three school officials, reportedly because his son had not been given enough playing time in school basketball games. One of the wives was 8 months pregnant at the time. Physicals wives often speak of the pressure to obtain personal prestige by association with the husband's professional stature. John Pekinen, who authored the book The Best Doctors in the US, reports that many enraged protests to his list came not from the physicals who were omitted, but from their wives. In one instance that reveals the extent to which the principle of association dominates the thinking of some of those women. Pekin received a letter from a frantic wife along with proof that her husband deserved to be on the list of best doctors. It was a photograph of the man with Merv Griffin. Guys, guess what? This is the end of the episode, so thank you very much for joining me. I'm really pleasure to choose to invite your best time with me. And I can't wait to see you all in tomorrow's episode of the greatest book club in the world, the AK Book Club. Until then, take care of yourself. Have a great time, and bye-bye.